When a German World War II bunker in Marnate, Italy, was reclaimed by the Italian resistance movement on April 26, 1945, an inspection of the structure revealed that it was completely empty, except for a powerful 700-kilogram bomb rigged deep inside of it. The device seemed intended to destroy the bunker and hide its secret history should it ever be discovered. Surprise discovery. Since their construction, locals had known that a series of hidden tunnels leading to the secret bunker existed inside a hill near the town of Marnate in northern Italy. The Marnate bunker and tunnels were remnants of World War II, but they had long been a source of mystery and wonder. Locals were told they were air raid shelters, but what they were used for, or what they were intended to be used for, remained a speculative matter even after the war. Since their construction occurred at the same time that Operation Odessa was allegedly being developed, some historians have hypothesized that they were intended to be part of an escape plan for German SS officers. While this could have been one possible use for the Marnate bunker, Operation Odessa itself was highly classified and poorly documented. To this day, Odessa's existence as an actual organization is debated among historians. It's believed, at least, that over 10,000 blank passports were sold by Argentina to German functionaries, with some obtaining travel documents through the International Red Cross. Whether the bunker was part of the operation is a mystery. One hypothesis held that it was used as a vault to house documents and precious material or treasure in case of an air raid. It's also possible that the bunker was at points used for meetings or logistics planning. Some have even suggested that the tunnels in Marnate were once longer and intended as escape routes. What is known is that the German government had the bunker built in the summer of 1944. That September, U.S. spy Lieutenant Aldo Icardi was parachuted into the area behind the enemy front for the Chrysler mission, which sought to capture and retrieve Italian dictator Benito Mussolini. The spy was staying in Busto Arsizio when he heard rumors of the recently built bunker. He gathered intelligence on it, which resides in the U.S. archives, providing a partial and possibly incomplete account of the history and goal of the construction. Icardi uncovered little else about the bunker before it was conquered and reclaimed by La Resistenza Italiana, or the Italian resistance movement, after an intense fight between them and a German garrison. The Germans surrendered on April 26th, just 1 year after the bunker was built. Building a secret gold bunker. Official reports claim that the bunker was built to house gold extracted by the Germans from the mines in the Italian province of Macugnaga. German Captain Joseph Wettler, who was garrisoned in nearby Cernobbio, was ordered to take over control of the border between Italy and Switzerland, primarily to ensure the safe transport of goods, material, and confiscated items to Germany. One of the most important tasks assigned to Wettler was to ensure the transport of Italian gold and to find a Swiss gold distiller so he could send unfinished materials over to Switzerland as well. He found what he needed in Milan and had the unfinished product sent there first. Wettler needed to find a way to transport the gold, since trucks were often subject to attacks by Allied planes. He reportedly opted for sending materials to Mendrisio in the Ticino canton through the Valmorea Railway. The closest train station was Olgiate Olona's Braspiano train station, where Captain Wettler decided to carry out his gold transporting operation. The bunker was then built on the border of Olgiate Olona and Marnate so he could protect the precious metal. Construction of the bunker was granted to General Hans Leyers, who collaborated with the Reichstag's military defense building specialists who were working nearby in Brennero. 2 months after breaking ground, the completed bunker was 469 feet long, 7 feet tall, and 6 feet wide. It featured 4 exits and an interior staircase leading to the blockhouse in the bunker. When empty, it could host up to 25 people. While spy Lieutenant Aldo Icardi investigated the construction, he'd heard rumors that the space was intended to serve as a shelter from air raids. The information gathered on the small capacity of the structure led him to conclude that it was in fact meant to house gold, as a structure intended for protection would have typically had a capacity of over 300 people. His writings on the matter would later help Italy reaffirm this official stance. Another important piece of evidence supporting this understanding of the construction's purpose is that a 700-kilogram bomb was found in the bunker and blockhouse intended to destroy the structure in case of an attack, perhaps showing that Wettler preferred burying the gold in the ground rather than having the enemy capture it. Gold theft. Germany needed to extract Italy's gold, as it needed to do with every other territory it conquered, to face the simultaneous expenses of war and high internal investment. After expending its gold and foreign exchange reserves to purchase military supplies, Germany realized it had to figure out a way to sustain its economy while militarizing its population. Using its own money was not enough, and by 1930 Germany had unsustainably low foreign reserves. In 1939, the country defaulted on its loans and was relying on internal trade. The Germans began looting newly conquered nations and regions, such as the then autonomous region of Danzig, Austria, and Czechoslovakia. The reserves from those areas kept the Germans afloat between 1937 and 1939. The German National Bank, the Reichsbank, claimed to have lesser reserves to the Bank of England to hide the theft. Germany reportedly drained and extracted $550 million worth of gold from conquered governments, the bulk of which came from the Netherlands, which lost $193 million in gold to Germany, and Belgium, which lost $223 million. Aside from these official expropriations, an uncalculated amount was confiscated from individuals, so the actual total amount taken remains uncertain. Much of this stolen gold ended up either traded or benefiting European banking institutions, and an unknown amount was lost to the banks when the German regime was defeated. Conspiracy theories, and even a lawsuit have been raised against the Vatican Bank for possessing some of the stolen gold. The lawsuit was dismissed and the claim remains unproven. Yet it is possible that the Vatican Bank could have held some of it, or even still holds some of it. The main institution used by the Germans to administer their gold was the Swiss National Bank, which reportedly received about $440 million in gold from Germany, with $316 million of that coming from looting and confiscating. Estimates claim that almost 100 tons of gold were laundered through Switzerland's banks, and that only 4 tons were returned to the temporarily conquered nations after the war. Aside from Switzerland, Portugal also received much of the German stolen gold, particularly through the sale of tungsten for bullets. At first, Germany traded with Portugal with regular currency, but Prime Minister Antonio de Oliveira Salazar enforced a rule through the Central Bank of Portugal, establishing that all payments be made in gold, since Germans had been regularly trying to use counterfeit bills. Transporting gold. Captain Wettler's men would send the gold mud to Mendrisio in Switzerland, as arranged between Wettler and the Azienda Minerali Metallici in Milan. To do this, the material was taken from the mines in Macugnaga and transported over a makeshift bridge to Marnate via small trucks, due to the destruction of the Orleggio, Turbigo, and Sesto Calende railways by Allied bombing. The gold would then be kept in the bunker before transport to Milan and later to Mendrisio. Reportedly, the bombings on Milan forced the captain to consider directly sending the gold to Switzerland, which may have been done on several occasions. Once the bunker was already finished, Germany lost the territory of Macugnaga to the Italian resistance, so no gold could be extracted until October 19, 1944, when General Hans Leyers took back the area. They found an incredible 2,120 kilograms of golden mud, almost entirely processed, which the Germans turned into 250 kilograms of gold. They also extracted 2 crates of gold blocks, one weighing 10 kilograms and the other 7. All of this was to be sent to Marnate's bunker, but Mussolini was informed of the findings and sent a letter to Karl Wolff, demanding it be handed over, since he considered it property of the Italian Social Republic. Mussolini's interference saw these particularly valuable discoveries stay in Italian hands. The unfinished gold mud was intercepted and sent to Monza rather than Marnate. The crates with the gold blocks were later found in a bank in Vento. It's rumored that after the end of the war, the Germans sought to recover some treasure left in the bunker. Reports have surfaced that in the 1970s, some veterans traveled to Marnate to attempt a recovery of gold left behind, but were unable to make it due to a car accident. Italian Museum. After the secret bunker was reclaimed by Italian citizens in 1944, it was left to nature for a long period of time. By the time it was revisited by the Associazione Nazionale Partigiani d'Italia, or ANPI, to undergo renovations in May of 1991, 3 of its 4 entries were obstructed by debris and flora. The secret gold bunker was hiding more secrets than believed. 2 additional entrances were discovered, as well as a passageway 100 meters long, and a map was then drawn of the full bunker. Marnate's bunker was officially opened to the public in March of 2015 at an inauguration dedicated to all the victims of the war. The bunker was used as a museum and memorial to the people involved in the retaking of the area. This use did not last long, as the bunker and tunnels were soon closed, due to the risk of the structure collapsing. Dark Docs is excited to announce a new channel, Dark Skies. Click the new logo on screen or the link in the description below to subscribe now. Join us as we bring the world of aviation out of the dark, with new videos exploring the biggest and fastest airplanes ever built, top secret military projects, and classified missions with hidden, untold, true stories. It's been an incredible journey with you from our first channel, Dark 5, to where we are today. Thank you for your support, and please click to join us on our next adventure at Dark Skies.